Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad and at Movies TV Mad on Vero. So welcome to Saturday's edition of the DCEU Daily. Patty Jenkins has been destroyed by Wonder Woman 84. Patty Jenkins had a great reputation after Wonder Woman 2017. She got to do Wonder Woman 84, a kind of not so much direct sequel to the first movie, if you think about it logically. She also got Gal Gadot, her Wonder Woman. Well, actually, it's not her Wonder Woman, it's Zack Snyder's Wonder Woman. But anyway, got her, cast her to do what's the film she was going to do? A Cleopatra movie, that's right. She also was tapped just before the release of Wonder Woman 84 to do Star Wars Rogue Squadron. A few weeks ago, it was revealed that she'd been sacked from the Star Wars movie by Kathleen Kennedy, one of the best decisions that Kathleen's ever made. And this week, Digital Spy revealed that she is not directing Cleopatra anymore. So 1 minute she's one of the busiest directors in Hollywood, and now all she's got is Wonder Woman 3. But has she? Has she still got Wonder Woman 3? What's going on? Why has she suddenly lost these movies? Now you're going to say, hey Mick, she's still got a producer's credit on both movies. You're right, but a producer's credit means nothing. Zack Snyder has producer's credits on all the DCEU movies because he started the franchise and cast all these actors. She started the development of Cleopatra and Rogue Squadron, so she'll have a silent producer's credit, but she'll have nothing to do with the movie. I'll give you a hotter take that Cleopatra probably won't even happen. You probably won't get another director. The film will just go away. I'll be very surprised if even Gal wants to continue on, but a very, very interesting turn of events. In Hollywood, normally you fail upwards. Wonder Woman 84 was a huge fail for Patty Jenkins, no question about that. And after that, she failed upwards. She got Cleopatra, and she got the Star Wars Rogue Squadron movie as well. And I think we were kind of, at first, when we heard this stuff, we thought, yeah, well done, Patty. Until we saw Wonder Woman 84, and until the studios who greenlit these projects for her to do also saw Wonder Woman 84. You see, it goes back to Zack Snyder's removal of his DCEU Snyderverse. Once he left, he couldn't cover for her anymore. And that's what was going on. He covered for her on the first Wonder Woman film. Everything good about that movie, as we've said repeatedly on this channel and on this show, has been because of Zack. The first movie is a delight. It's beautiful. It's a poem. It works on every level. Wonder Woman 84 really doesn't work on any level, apart from a slight emotional speech from Wonder Woman at the end of the movie, but it kind of makes you feel, oh yeah, everyone should just be so kind and not be greedy, even though the people who wrote this film and made this film basically are the greediest bastards in the fucking world from any industry, but we'll just ignore that. Wonder Woman 84 came out, and you have to be blind, deaf, dumb, and blind not to understand that creatively it's a failure on every level. And the evidence is her removal from Rogue Squadron and Cleopatra. So it's going to be very interesting what happens to Patty next. And this is very relevant to the DCEU because she's tapped to be directing Wonder Woman 3. If she does still do Wonder Woman 3, she will say she cleared her schedule because Wonder Woman is so important to her. Absolute bollocks, if you ask me. But that's how she's going to spin the narrative on it. But that's if she keeps this movie. It will be disastrous. It's already disastrous for Patty. But it would be disastrous for Patty Jenkins if she was removed from the Wonder Woman 3 movie, which I predicted a long, long time ago. Why? Why though? Why is she being removed from these movies? Because normally they're quite happy to allow creatively bankrupt people to fail upwards. You look at Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm. You look at Rian Johnson. He's got this huge Knives Out universe. And he's doing a sequel as well. I think that's going to be on Netflix as well. So normally people are allowed to fail upwards in Hollywood, but not this time. So as I say, it seems like Warner Brothers are the only studio who are showing any faith in her. But you see, removing Zack Snyder from the Snyderverse cinematic universe, what that's done is it's created a huge problem. And the biggest problem was for Patty Jenkins. He wasn't credited really for the movie, she was. He stayed quiet because it's all about saying, strong female director, what a job she did, blah, blah, blah. But in truth, the audience ain't dumb. The men and the women and everybody, however they identified as, knew Patty Jenkins had very little to do with the Wonder Woman film once they saw Wonder Woman 84. Wonder Woman 84 is like pulling a pin out of a grenade and throwing it at friendly fire. The film is that ordinary. I wouldn't necessarily say it's bad, but that ordinary. The evidence is there everywhere. One, it's no good getting at me and saying, oh, you're being harsh to Patty. Wonder Woman 84 is there for all of us to see. Is there anyone on the planet who believes that Wonder Woman 84 is anywhere near in the quality of the first movie? And it's there. She has been removed from these movies. These movies are not going to happen. Now, they haven't officially came out and said we've sacked her, but it's there in black and white. The evidence is there. There is no denial that she will no longer be directing Cleopatra, and she will no longer be directing Rogue Squadron. Why? It's a blatant fall from grace, if you ask me. Surely Warner Brothers cannot allow her to do Wonder Woman 3 unless there's another reason. You know, she can't do those films. Maybe she's unwell. Maybe it's her health. I don't know. But it's a bit coincidental, isn't it? Wonder Woman 84 is a creative bomb. She gets taken off of 2 films, literally back to back. I think this is a tremendous opportunity to actually make a great Wonder Woman 3. Because right now we have a great first movie and a very average, bang average creative bomb in the sequel. It doesn't work on any level. It's not the way a second movie should be. A second movie shouldn't be about love and compassion. A second movie should be Empire Strikes Back, should be The Dark Knight. You should keep people wanting more. Now, there is an issue between The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, and we can all see it. I think no one can actually say, well, The Dark Knight Rises is better or as good as The Dark Knight. There are elements of Dark Knight Rises that are okay, but you can tell that Nolan really was running on empty in terms of Batman, especially when you look at his Dark Knight Rises climax. There are some great elements there. Tom Hardy's Bane. I mean, there's so many issues with the way that was executed as well. Unfortunately, you know, Tom Hardy's a great actor, but it didn't work out. The Dark Knight. So really, you go from Wonder Woman 2017 to Wonder Woman 84, there's a problem. You go from The Dark Knight to The Dark Knight Rises, and there's still great commentary in that film. It's still Christopher Nolan. It's not a terrible movie, and that's not what I'm saying. Now, could anyone, you know, top The Dark Knight? I know that's very difficult, and obviously the tragic death of Heath Ledger didn't help The Dark Knight Rises. He was supposed to be in The Dark Knight Rises, and that would have been a different kettle of fish, of course, because people would have been more hyped for it. It would have made even more money. I don't think it made as much money as The Dark Knight, but it did good money, The Dark Knight Rises, because of The Dark Knight. No question about it. But there's no comparison between Wonder Woman 84 and The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises is fucking June compared to Wonder Woman 84. But you can see, everyone, now what I've been saying for weeks and months, that Patty Jenkins' blockbusters are not for her. Listen, filmmaking isn't something that anyone can do. I've been to drama school, I've been to film school, I write, produce, direct and star in my own plays. But it don't fucking mean I can make a Hollywood blockbuster. Chuck me in the deep end and see what happens. It'll be worse than Wonder Woman 84. What I'm saying is, You have to have a knack to do these things. How can I go and make a Hollywood blockbuster, for example? I've never worked with CGI technology, right? I've never worked with huge Hollywood personalities. It would be a mess. Of course I know how to make a film, but not on that fucking level. You know, it may be a happy accident and something good could come from it, but you know what I mean. Some people have come from independent movies and done so well on the highest level of blockbuster. I mean, you look at the Russos, they did a great job over at the MCU. I've said it before. They should have been put in charge of this Spider-Man universe. Big mistake that they wasn't, because their version of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in Civil War is awesome. And he hasn't been that awesome ever since they weren't dealing with him. Every time they had him in Avengers movies, he worked. Civil War, Endgame, and what was it? Infinity War, of course. So, it's all about the creatives after all. And Patty Jenkins isn't like me. Obviously, Patty Jenkins has got a lot more experience than I have in making movies, but some independent directors just don't see it, can't see it, and she became a problem on the first Wonder Woman movie. She was blatantly, you know, playing the big I am, you know, exposing Warner Brothers, because it was fashionable to expose Warner Brothers at the time. After all, Zack and Ray Fisher were doing it, she thought. Why can't I? It's not my fault you don't like the CGI, you know, fueled third act of the first Wonder Woman film. It's them. They wanted that. Yeah, because that's what happens in these kind of movies. You have a big CGI battle. And I actually thought it was full of heart, and I liked it. I still don't understand the hate for the third act of the first Wonder Woman film. So that's why she got her own way with Wonder Woman 84 and that climax, it being so talky. But it's even worse than that. Wonder Woman 84 has like, what, 1 or 2 action sequences, and they're not that great either. Maxwell Lord, not good enough. Nothing like the comics. A great performance by Pedro Pascal, didn't work. Cheetah, Barbara Manova, that is not Cheetah visually or emotionally, aesthetically or anything. The important things that she had to do didn't happen. She has no love for the comics, but it goes deeper than that. I just don't think she's capable of making a a blockbuster movie, whether it's Wonder Woman, Rogue Squadron. I mean, they had her on fucking Star Wars, man. Star Wars. And I told you. Didn't I? Come on, look back on my videos. I told you all this would end in tears. I thought they'd actually let her make the movies and they'd be terrible and they'd make no money. I didn't think that Hollywood studios would be, oh my God, she's a problem. You know, we've got to get rid of her. And of course, the only studio who haven't got rid of her yet are Warner Brothers. So as I say, you can bring Patty on to make a continuation of Wonder Woman 84, which is the plan thus far, or you can bring another writer-director on to save this. There's so many great female. If your rule is women must write and direct for women, well, I'll tell you something. There's some brilliant writers for women out there. Not crazy feminists, but really good female writers that can do Wonder Woman justice. But here's a deeper truth. The only person who's done Wonder Woman justice is Zack Snyder. He did her justice in BVS. He did her justice in the first film. He must take credit for that film. He cast it, he put it together, and all Patty did was the episode director. As I said before, she got her own way on a few things. But all she was pretty much doing on that film is action. Zack said stand over there. Oh, Zack said stand over there. That's all she was really doing on the movie. It's clear she had opinions on what a Wonder Woman movie should be, and it's clear mostly that Zack and Warner Brothers ignored her. And what was the more successful movie? What was the better movie? The movie that Zack was around for, or the movie that Patty Jenkins co-wrote and directed herself? The proof of the eating is in the tasting, in the pudding, as us British say. And when you taste the first meal, it's beautiful. And when you taste the other meal, it kind of leaves you bloated, like those Frosties I had this morning. Jesus Christ, I had these Frosties, right? I mean, I don't know why I'm talking about this because I'm giving you an analogy, but I thought, oh, Frosties, nice and sweet, warm milk in the morning. Oh my God, I feel terrible. But I'm a professional, so even though I feel terrible, I'm still doing this video. So the point being is that Wonder Woman 84 is the evidence of what she's capable of, or should I say it, rephrase that, what she's not capable of. So there's a big problem here. There's a big problem here. I've been saying it for a long time. You can carry on with the easy life, Warner Brothers, and keep her on the movie. But you can see what's happening here. Wonder Woman 84 destroyed Patty Jenkins' career. She's nearly destroyed Wonder Woman in Wonder Woman 84, took everything away that made her Wonder Woman in the first film. People embraced that movie. Zack kept quiet and allowed her to get the credit she didn't deserve. If Zack had remained in charge of the DCEU, he could have held her hands on the second movie and the third movie, and everyone could have pretended that she was a fucking genius. But there's no way of doing that now. It's not going to work. This is what they tried to do with Kathy Yan. You know, they tried to bring in Chad Zaletsky, or whatever his name is, the guy who does John Wick, to clean up a terrible made movie. It didn't work. It was too late. Now, if he was there from the beginning, maybe things would have been different. There's one thing to bring in a female director to be representative and, you know, for representation and inclusion, because we want to give more female directors, more people from minority backgrounds, these kind of roles. But they also have to have the talent. And here's the problem with Patty Jenkins. She may be a woman, but she doesn't have the ability to make great blockbuster movies. And there lies the problem. I want to ask you all a question. Do you think that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom will be removed from its December release date? It is December, isn't it? Yeah, because The Flash comes out in November. Now, we all know the Avatar sequel comes out at the same day, on the same day. I always assumed that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was having December 2022 as a placeholder. Surely there's no way these films can be released on the same day. But nothing's really happened yet. And we're in December now. So we're a year away from the release. Surely Aquaman must be pushed back or forward. So will they do it? Will they allow Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom to stay in December? It's very interesting. There's two things they could do here. Wait to see how the other DC movies do, because clearly they're being very passive aggressive. They want to compete with Avatar, and that's okay. But Aquaman potentially and could really suffer because of this. Not only is it being released for one of the most anticipated sequels of all time in Avatar 2, you've got the Amber Heard problem as well. People are going to boycott that movie. That can't be helped. So I just don't see the thinking around this, to be honest with you. They clearly they were never going to have, listen, what was going to happen was the Batman was going to be released this year. So instead of the Batman coming out next year, it would have been Shazam. They were always going to have 4 movies, but it was going to be Shazam instead of the Batman. But I just don't see the logic of having Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom get released at the same time, as I say, as one of the most anticipated sequels of all time. If it was me, I would have to not push it back, but push it forward. I mean, the dates are, I never remember the dates when we talk about this, but the dates are for the Batman, it's March, and then I think you've got actually a big space. Actually, this is interesting, because you do have a window of opportunity between the Batman and Black Adam. Black Adam comes out in the summer, right? Is it July? I think it's July. So you would have April, May and June to slide Aquaman in there. Now that will be a release space but you could make it work. But then after Black Adam, you actually have another big space of release window opportunity. After Black Adam comes out in July, you've got August, you've got September, and you've got October. You've got another 3 months in between Black Adam and the Flash movie. So you can either release it after the Batman, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, or after Black Adam. I think it would fit perfectly just after Black Adam. But we're going to have to wait and see. I'd love your comments on this and your opinions, because I know when I used to do lives, there was a lot of opinions on this situation. Are they actually going to play chicken with this Avatar sequel? As we say, this is a sequel that everyone's waiting for. I mean, when was the original released? A long time ago. Are people as excited? This is an interesting question to pose as well. If Warner Brothers are seriously considering going against this Avatar sequel, the other question we have to ask, is this Avatar sequel as anticipated as the first movie? Because the first movie was hugely anticipated. This was as anticipated as Spider-Man No Way Home, as Batman 89. You know, those movies in the history of Hollywood that have been hugely anticipated. But does James Cameron's Avatar 2 have the same anticipation? I don't think it does. But I could be wrong. I'm not the authority on what people want to see. And I'm sure there is a lot of anticipation for it. But it's not got the hype around it the first movie has. Now, it could, let me rephrase that, it could have more anticipation the closer we get to it. But from what I can tell, Spider-Man No Way Home has always had this anticipation, because we always knew this was going to be a multiversal movie, and we knew Toby and Andy were going to be in it. This time next week, it would have been released. So, very interesting. If Warner Brothers do stick to this date, it would tell me that they don't think the anticipation for the what's it called? I've already forgotten. The Avatar sequel is there. They don't think that they're confident that, you know, Aquaman can actually break even or even defeat Avatar. Now, wouldn't that be a huge achievement for a franchise that hasn't got many great achievements in terms of box office? Aquaman, the first film, of course, is one of their greatest achievements, over $1 billion globally. And who knows what the pandemic will be doing to the world at that stage. Hopefully we'll be getting through it a bit better. But we said this time last year, although we are in a better place this year than we were last year. They're able to make movies, people are able to go to theatres now, which is a very important thing. And so I have no idea if Warner Brothers are going to stick to this December release date for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Excuse me, I'm going to have to do it again. Jesus Christ. Anyway, but what's kind of weird about this release date is that Warner Brothers have had it there for a very, very long time. It's been a while. So, at this moment, I don't believe they're going to move it. But they could do. But they're waiting a hell of a long time to do it. Now, of course, they have plenty of time to change the release dates. But at this moment in time, it's going to be released there. Which I find this situation utterly fascinating. I really do. Because you've got Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, the most successful movie in the DC Extended Universe and its short history. And you've got Avatar 2, the sequel to one of the most hotly, successful movies of all time. The breaking ground in 3D technology was sensational. The film looks amazing. It has an interesting story. I personally think the hype didn't fit the Avatar movie. I like the movie. I think it's okay. but it's no way the movie the anticipation gave us. It's okay, but it made a hell of a lot of money and it broke ground in movie making. And you know, James Cameron's been working on these sequels for a hell of a long time, so I hope it's worth it. Now, as I say, I like the first Avatar film, but as a DC stan, there's no way I'm watching an Avatar sequel instead of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And if we talk about how a movie looks and groundbreaking, James Wan broke ground with the first Aquaman. We're being told he's breaking ground with underwater filming again. We're going to see a lot more of Atlantis this time, don't forget that. So if you're talking about great VFX, I think these movies will have great VFX. But the question is, which one will be the better movie? But more importantly, which movie will audiences flock to? And I think this is, as I say, I think this is rather fascinating, because I don't think it's as obvious as you may think. Well, it's Avatar, isn't it? Aquaman have got no chance. I don't think so. I don't think it's that straightforward. And I can't put my hat or my money on one film or the other. So, very interesting. We're going to have to wait and see. But at this moment in time, Warner don't seem to have any intention of moving Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And I'm shocked. I'm totally shocked by this, because I would have thought if you wanted a real competition against Avatar, you would go with the Flash movie. Why is that? Because this is the movie that's going to reboot the entire DCEU. It's a huge movie. It's the first ever Flash movie as well. We're going to have, you know, so many DC characters we've seen before from other iterations of live action DC. It's huge. So you would think if any movie can compete against Avatar, it will be that. But what that also tells me is, even though they're willing to take the gamble with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, they're not willing to lose money on the Flash movie. Because the Flash movie, as we always say, is very important. It's rebooting the DC Extended Universe. So they want to give it a fair fight, a fair fist of it. So that's why it's not being moved. And that's why kind of Aquaman to them is worth the risk. Because there's no question, people do want to watch Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. There's hype for it. But there's not as much hype around it as there is the Batman, Black Adam, the Flash movie. So that's the thing. I think people are excited. And it's very interesting how many people, people just flock to see that movie after Justice League. I'm still shocked by that. Justice League should have destroyed the DC Extended Universe. Next movie makes $1 billion. It just shows you, if you do make a great movie, people will forgive you for anything. And plus, James Wan had nothing to do with Justice League. Joss Whedon did. And Warner Brothers did. It was no one's fault. It wasn't the other director's fault. That was they were studio mandated decisions that went wrong terribly. I could have told them that when they were actually doing it, when they were making these decisions. But when was the last time you heard a studio listen to the members of the public? Well, recently it's the Sonic trailer, wasn't it? When the CGI and VFX was so bad, and they listened to the fans. And because of listening to the fans, what happened to the actual movie? Huge hit. Everyone was pleased with it. This is what happens when you listen to your consumer. The problem is, not many people listen to their consumers from movie studios in Hollywood these days. We are kind of at loggerheads with the industry, aren't we? As fans and as consumers. And that's a big shame as far as I'm concerned. But the question I've got, this is homework for you to put in the comments down below. What movie is going to make more money? Avatar 2 or Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom? As I say, I can't put my money anywhere. I hope it's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. But it won't be as simple as that. But I also don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Avatar 2 will make more money than Aquaman. Surely they're still going to move it. Surely. Warner Brothers are not this brave. Very passive aggressive to keep it there. We will have to wait and see what happens. But right now, Aquaman and Avatar are going head to head. And that really does excite me and intrigue me. And I think it's fascinating. This has been the DCEU Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you again tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. Until then, goodbye.